I want one. But I want one giant. To be honest, this project had been on my mind for a very long time, but only starting a YouTube channel gave me the motivation to actually get started. A long time ago, I bought a special crepe paper for large flowers. It's very thick. I also bought some styrofoam eggs that might be useful as flower center. A floral tape that doesn't stick. I don't know if that's normal or if it's just broken. I will start with the dark pink one. I was sure I had red in this package, but I don't. Pink will be fine too. First, I'd like to make a poppy, and I would like to test how this paper will behave when dyed. The poppy petals are black on one end, so we need to dye this paper black on one end. I've prepared clean water and water with black paint. First, I tried dipping just the end of the paper in diluted black paint, and that line is too perfect, completely unnatural. Furthermore, the paper stretches and waves in the water, so I will try to dip the whole thing in water first and then in this black water. This paper doesn't absorb water very well, but look how it stretches. The wrinkles are straightening out, and that black edge is much better, more organic. This first sample is completely useless, but this one will be perfect. I will cut it into the shape of a poppy petal. Look, it's perfect. I need to make more petals like this using the same method, dipping them in clean water and then in black water. Magic! There we go. We have more petals ready. Now I need to cut them all, crumble them, straighten them, and stretch the ends. I am also making a light flower at the same time using exactly the same method, but I am not showing you because I don't have enough space in the frame anyway. I will see if a smaller or larger egg will be better as a flower center. I think the smaller one will be better. I will magically cut it in half. Now I will make the center. The poppy has a green center, and luckily I have the perfect color. I cut a strip and stretch it in the middle. This gives the paper a dome shape that fits nicely. I am gluing paper underneath. These poppies won't have any stem because I want them to be wall decorations, so I don't have to worry about the back looking good. I will cover it up later. Now I need to make the intersecting lines that forms the center of the poppy, so I cut the thin strips of paper and I will lightly paint them yellow with an acrylic marker because I want it to be slightly different from the green underneath. And I will twist all the strips, cut them in half and glue them on. If you are noticing the bandage on my finger, don't worry. In this episode and many more to come, my hands may be a bit damaged because as a side quest I am doing this. I really like hard work, but unfortunately my hands get some damage every time. You have to forgive me, that's just who I am. I make huge flowers to feel like Arietty. And in the meantime, I am pounding rocks with a rubber hammer like a mountain dwarf. But let's get back to the paper flowers. It's time to make those black thingies that the poppies has around the center. They are called stamens, I think. I am making them from the black grape paper. I cut a few strips and scored them along the wrinkles, but not all the way. I could have stretched them, which would have been better, but it's too late now. And I will crumble them like this, rubbing my hands together. And then I will also twist all the thin strips. This way I have a lot of thin stamens, which I will glue around the green center. Then, of course, I will glue all the petals I already have. Let's listen to some nice music while I do it. The poppies are ready. I made two, as I said, dark one and a light one. Now it's time for the cornflower. It's much more complicated than the poppy. It scares me a bit, but I've learned that the hardest part is getting started, and then somehow it works out. The cornflowers I brought home died long time ago, so I had to use some photos from the internet. I will make the center purple and the outer petals blue. But first I will make those black stamens because I think that's the easiest part, and then I will have it ready waiting for its time. Next I need to start making the center, but I don't like this purple. I would prefer it to be a little more bluish to reduce the contrast between the two colors. So I covered the table with cardboard and I will try to dye all the pieces of paper I need. I put pieces of crepe paper into clean water. Watch how the paper grows, how its wrinkles smooth out. Watch carefully and learn, because it's the same for humans. Drink plenty of water and your wrinkles will smooth out. I know what I'm saying because I am soon approaching my 40s. I colored the paper half blue, but I am not happy with the result. It wasn't colored well enough, so before the paper dried, I painted it again with blue paint. And after it dried, it looks like this. Still not great, but it's not going to get any better. To make the colors even closer together, I painted the blue pieces of crepe paper, which will later become the final petals. The center of the cornflower is made of tiny little ruffles, which I make similarly to how I made the poppy stamens. I cut strips of paper along the wrinkles and rub them with my hands. I would like the purple to be on the bottom and the blue on the top. I hope that will give me a nice effect. I glued it all together with hot glue, but I forgot that this flower needs to have a stem, and I have to build it on the stem right away to make it firmly attached. It's not too late, so I poke a hole in the hot glue and insert a plastic tube I had from a broken baby toy. Once I have the base ready, I can start on the petals. Cornflowers come in many varieties. The wild ones aren't as packed with petals, but I also have more fancy ones in my garden, and they are much prettier. They have 2 rows of petals. It's hard to tell the shape of the central petals, so I will improvise a bit and I hope it turns out well. I will make 2 rows of petals. The central ones are smaller. I made them by hot gluing them like a tube, then cutting out triangles to give it a jagged look. I tucked the ends with scissors, and that's how the first petal looks. Although I should really say they're flowers, not petals, because cornflowers belong to the Asteraceae family, and characteristics of this family is that each flower is composed of many small flowers. So I glued them all to the base. It won't be visible, but to make sure everything stays in place, I will wrap it in this floral tape. I also have to glue it because this scrap slides off. Now I will glue in those black stamens I had prepared earlier. Everything's starting to look pretty good, if I can say so myself. I wanted to make them the same way, but I thought the paper would be too thick at the bottom, so I cut them at an angle and I glued them at an angle. This makes them narrower at the bottom and wider at the top. Then I cut them like this, but then shortened the one layer even more so that the strands were shorter on one side. Then I tucked them with scissors. I made them all the same way and they turned out like this. There are many more of them than in the middle cornflower, but the decorative ones have many more flowers, so it should be okay. I glued them all around with hot glue, making sure the shorter triangles point towards the top. Now I need to work on the flower base. The bottom of the cornflower isn't flat but has this round shape. To achieve this shape, I glued some paper towels. Then I cut out leaf shapes from green paper. I painted their ends brown with acrylic marker. I glued them on to cover the ugly edge. Next, I made a strip of green crepe paper and wrapped it around the shape just to make sure no white color would show through. Again, I cut out leaves from green crepe paper and cut their edges like this. I painted the edges rusty brown and crumpled them by rubbing them together. This made them more organic. I had a piece of that plastic tube left, so I thought I would make a flower bud as well. It shouldn't be difficult. So I made an aluminum bud at the end of the plastic tube, then used a trick I saw in one of the tutorials. I took a strip of paper and twisted it in the middle, but only once, and I glued one side with hot glue, then the other side, making sure none of the aluminum foil showed through. I wrapped everything with floral tape to hold it in place, and then I glued the green leaves. Finally, I wrapped everything with floral tape, then with crepe paper tape. Where the bud stem was missing because it was too short, I added a piece of aluminum foil and wrapped everything together. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, thanks for being here. As always, please subscribe. It's free, and free is a fair price. If you can, leave a comment, give me a thumb up, and now you can also give it a hype, and I encourage you to hype my videos and those of real crafters in general, so that AI doesn't wipe out real people from YouTube. Now it's time for the final reveal, and see you in the next episode. Bye!